If you look around my office, you might realize I have kind of a love for dark, twisted cartoons. And a lot of that may be because I grew up with a lot of dark, twisted cartoons. Now, I'm not talking about the ones like Batman or ones that were meant for older kids. I'm talking about the ones that were meant for little kids, and they probably should have been made for little kids. And I loved the hell out of them. I enjoyed how much they scared me. I loved how every time you got through one, you felt a little tougher. So I'm doing a series reacting and reviewing them. We're gonna analyze how creative they are, how dark they are, and if the dark twisted tone was warranted. So join me in taking a look at some Dark Toons. We've all seen Popeye beat up a bunch of people, but you ever see him shoot a dude? Happy Birthdaze was released in 1943. It was recommended to me by a special guest. Say hi, special guest.
Hi. How you doing?
Not bad, man. So this is kind of funny. We had a kind of an exchange of videos. I think you were looking for documentaries to watch, and I was looking for Dark Toons. You sent me this one, and you just titled the email, Popeye Kills a Man. I watched it, and I thought it was hilarious, and all the stuff you had to say about it sounds like you grew up with it and really liked it, so I was just like, you want to just be in the video? And you were like, sure, so thanks so much, man.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. So I've really enjoyed the Dark Toons you've been doing. And I like how you mentioned in one of them how these cartoons made you feel like you went through something, like you got through it and you're stronger, after seeing it. And this was one, you said I liked it, but actually when I saw it as a kid, I did not. This pissed me off, actually. Like,
really?
This cartoon actually, legitimately upset me. And then years later thought about it and was like, wait a minute, was that real? Did I really once, as a kid, witness Popeye murder somebody? So glad to introduce this one to you because I was just like, I wonder what Doug has to say about this one.
It's a funny one. You guys are gonna love it. So let's take a look. Did you grow up with Popeye? Were you a big Popeye fan?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think that's why this one stuck out to me so much because it's so out of character. Traditionally, the format was always it's Popeye and Bluto fighting over olive oil, gets his ass handed to him, but then he eats the spinach, he gets strong, he beats up Bluto, and that's kind of it. Almost like a little bit of a superhero quality too, where he gets his power from the spinach.
I became really obsessed with it when I was a kid to a point where I couldn't believe there was a live action movie. That was my jam when I was a kid. I remember thinking to myself, oh my god, there really are arms that look like that? Not knowing it was makeup. Even though I haven't watched it much as an adult, I still have a soft spot for it, and I think there is a lot to appreciate about it.
Sis is riding around on her delicious chocolate pudding, mate.
So something interesting big Popeye fans will notice already is that their lips actually match what they're saying. The early cartoons, the way they saved time and money, they animated them without always knowing what the dialogue was going to be, and they added the dialogue later, so they didn't have to match it to the lip syncing.
That's me. Who's afraid of you?
The ones where their lips don't match what they're saying and they'll talk over each other, which you really didn't hear at cartoons at the time, I found it very unique.
Oh no, I guess was that the reason why Popeye talks the way he does?
It might be, because they had to get dialogue out fast. Oh, look at this. Oh, this guy's going over here. Oh,
Love, olive.
Okay.
So this is back when suicide was hilarious in cartoons.
Yeah, it's such a serious thing to make fun of. Before we even get into it, the actor here doing the voice of this character is Arnold Stang, who is this classic comedy star. He was actually in my favorite movie, It's a Mad, 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 Mad World. They would make the character look like the actor, so they sort of exaggerated his features. And right off the bat, you feel sorry for this guy. I mean, he's sad that the rest of his friends are all getting letters and he didn't get anything, and that's a very relatable feeling. I remember feeling that way a lot as a kid.
What I like too is how clearly super sensitive he is. He doesn't get love letters, so he's just ready to end it all.
There's a lot of cartoons back then where a character would pull a gun to their head, or they'd jump off a bridge or stuff like that. There's even a clip collection she mentioned on YouTube. It's astounding how many times that they've done that.
Nobody loves me.
That's funny, I likes you. Why, you looks like Bob Hope.
Did they just throw Bob Hope under the bus?
They did. Have you seen him? He's a weird looking dude.
Bing Crosby.
But what I like, Bing Crosby, if he didn't have that voice, he's kind of weird looking too, and I think my introduction to him was through cartoons and all the impressions, so I was always like, this must be a weird looking guy, because they don't draw him very good looking in any of those impressions.
He put a gun to his head a second time, so already they're setting this up like, this isn't just a one-time thing, this is the running gag of the whole show.
How'd you like to go to me birthday party?
You're right, you don't want to see anything bad happen to him, but you don't know him very well yet either. And this is also the first appearance of this character named Shorty. He was in only 3 cartoons. So I think this is a great introduction because you don't know what he or Popeye are getting themselves into. Things are going good. He's happy. He's happy. It's gonna be a nice cartoon.
Gotta wash my hands first. Happy birthday to my pal, to my pal, to my pal.
I like this joke because you kind of know where it's going, but you're like, but they didn't show inside too much water building up or anything like that. So you're like, well, they wouldn't do that because they'd have to have some lead in, and there's just none.
It's also funny that it might be like a community restroom, but I think they went into her apartment, right?
I was just thinking that too. Why does it say men on there if you go into her place? Is there a urinal in her apartment? I'm not sure.
2 bags of flour, 1/2 of 1 cup of 1/4 can of drip sauce, 2 boxes of dried umpty beans, a can of crunches, and 3 bags of Mother Mercy.
That's one of my favorite jokes. I love it because you've seen this joke done before where there's a lot of one person moving and then they look at each other and go, wow, like that's not physically possible. But I love this idea. He actually touches his other version and it vanishes. Like, you're just already questioning reality. Like, wait, I was there, but now I'm not. How does this work? It feels like the first time that joke is really legit questioned.
So you could tell right now he's overwhelmed. He's trying to help with this cake, and he's trying to overachieve here, really, because he wants some kind of approval.
I think he's also excited too. He's so excited to like be a part of something because clearly he's always on his own and alone. All this positivity to him just makes the payoff so much funnier and so much darker.
I'm sorry, Popeye. I was only trying to be helpful.
Oh, cut out the sentimentality and open the door.
I think scenes like that, at least for the darkness of it, are important because it just shows he is still very sensitive, like he still cares about what's happening to people, which I think if he was just kind of jerky, like this would be more like a traditional cartoon, but because he means well and he feels bad when he screws up, it just makes it all the more mean-spirited, which you don't... Popeye's violent, but it's not usually mean. Like, this cartoon is beautifully mean.
It's sort of like in Family Matters with Carl Winslow and Steve Urkel, how Steve is the annoying neighbor and he comes over and he means well. He always means well, but he just screws everything up and causes a lot of damage to the house and everything.
I think you were telling me it's like if Carl Winslow shot Urkel at the end of an episode, but who was that kid he shot in Die Hard? I don't know. I think this might have happened.
Which actually I heard it was supposed to be like connected, that it was actually supposed to be set in Chicago and that it was Carl Winslow.
Wouldn't you love watching that show? Like, TGIF, our main character killed a kid.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Well, what are you gaping at? Do something.
Get up and take a bath.
That's some brilliant slapstick. So you're building up this thing, is about to fall on him. He's like, yelling at Shorty. It's coming down. She stops it, already doing a spin on the punchline, but then she still hits him with it. I mean, that's fucking brilliant.
It really is. I don't even think they did that on Three Stooges. Like, I can't remember a time where something was going to fall on Larry and then Moe would catch it only to hit him with it. Like, I don't know. Maybe they did, but I don't remember anything like that.
You know, I like this episode because I feel like it's skipping steps in a joke, but like in the best way. He hasn't gone in, so there can't be water in there. Yet somehow there still is. Like him just being near that men's room somehow gets it filled with water.
It's all my fault. I hate myself.
Oh, don't be so silly.
Wow.
Just gives you an idea of that era when somebody pulls a gun. Oh, don't be silly.
And it's the third time. It's the third time he's done this. Can you name another cartoon where somebody does that 3 times?
He has 3 of those things in his pocket. Think about that.
Yeah, because every time they discard it. So how many are left?
Not to go back to what we said before, but I think that really adds to the darkness of it. You sympathize with him, but you also kind of sympathize towards Popeye, because you're like, well, I don't want him to do that. I don't want him to, like, feel too bad about himself. Just feel a little bad so you'll learn something.
And never just to take this extreme permanent solution. It's just like, it's going way too far.
Playing games and things like that.
He always helps her out okay. It's always okay when she's around.
And he wants to play baseball.
I love that Popeye just went in with the idea that he's going to beat the shit out of him with a bat.
What do you say we play ice hockey now, huh?
There's no ice there. Why does he even put skates on him?
Look, Popeye, look! It's finished!
One of the things I love about this cartoon is Olive Oyl. I think people really underestimate how hilarious she is, especially at the time you look at like other female characters like Daisy or Minnie or something like that. They're usually just the emotional support for the main character, but Olive Oyl, they use her in the slapstick. Like, they'll throw her around. She'll get smashed against stuff just like anyone else. She's not just a female version of Popeye. Like, she's legit really funny.
Minnie or Daisy would be like, well, they'll just make a mouse that looks kind of like it, but it's just like the feminine version of it, where Olive Oyl is her own unique character. The limbs are kind of like gangly and everything, so she plays into that slapstick real well, where the body just does like these really hilarious, like slippery physics.
Even when she's carrying that cake, like, her limbs are so exaggerated, they're like, well, this is gonna look really crazy. Let's have the candles not just be lit like they're on fire, because she's gonna be moving so weird. Let's make everything about it so weird. So, I mean, even just the exaggerated movements of a character can add so much to a scene.
Did you see Miss Oil around here?
Yes, she went that way.
I love that too, because it gives the impression she fell so quickly it didn't even register to like try to hold her arms out or anything. She's just still holding the cake.
And I just love that there's like a guy with a newspaper, I don't know, looking like he's from 1910 or something, and it's just another day she falls, and like she may have fell so many times that in the past that this just becomes another normal occurrence.
Hey, can I blow out the candle? Happy birthday to my pal.
The song Happy Birthday, at least back then, was super copyrighted, and what I mean by that is that if you ever used it in a movie or a short or a game commercial, anything, they came after you and said you have to pay a fee for using that, which is also why you don't always hear it all the time. Like, they'll sing a variation of Happy Birthday, or at restaurants they'll make up their own song. But here I think it kind of makes it funnier because he's singing London Bridge is Falling Down, replacing it with Happy Birthday, and why would anyone do that? Like, the character's already so strange, like, you wouldn't even think just to sing the original Happy Birthday song.
I think recently they overturned it, and now it's public domain again. I don't know.
The history of Happy Birthday is actually very fascinating. If you ever want to look it up, it's actually really interesting.
Happy birthday to my pal, to my pal, to my pal. Happy birthday.
Wow.
There it is.
Yeah.
Popeye beat up Bluto many times. A person had tried to kill him on several occasions. He never fucking shot Bluto. He shot this guy.
You know, the Roadrunner will get shot in the face 1,000 times, and he just keeps coming back. Like cartoon.
Whoa, where's that cartoon, man? I want to see that one.
Well, I mean, like, it's always like a cannon, or it's like
yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. In these type of cartoons, the character always recovers, but this one, it just ends. Like, Popeye murdered him. Like, he's not coming back. The show is over. The bitter end. And it's like, what? Something about that, just the words "the bitter end" just coming out of nowhere, just written in like a stark white over black, with that music where he's singing Happy Birthday to my pal, and it's more somber, like dun 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 dun. The combination of all that, it just gave me such a profound reaction when I was a kid, where I just stared in shock. I was just like, what the hell just happened? Like, cartoons don't end sad like this.
They would have something really violent, like that combination of all like the suicides and stuff like that, but they don't think they're being particularly dark. It's just a funny gag. I think here they knew they were being dark. If it wasn't a dark ending, if they have Popeye bring out the gun, I assume that's the gun he took from Shorty, to shoot him. I think if they showed him either hitting him or shooting him with the lights on, he goes, "Ooh," and falls over, and then it ends there, be like, okay, whatever, but it's dark. You hear him singing, you just see this gunshot. They're like, okay, let's just end on something super mean. Like, that's what we've been building up to. Let's go all the way. And I had to give them credit for having the balls to do it.
They always show you that things are okay in the end. Like, if Tom goes to hell, and then at the end he wakes up and it's a dream. This one, it's like, no, we're going the other way.
Now that you've seen it as an adult years later, do you like it or does it still piss you off?
I mean, not the way it did as a kid, but it's still like, it's shocking that they did it. So it definitely exists as this just isolated, weird Popeye cartoon that is like no other. Yeah, do I love it or hate it? Like, I mean, now obviously we're laughing at it, so it's kind of funny in the way that it's so shocking and unreal. So yeah, and other than that, it's a funny cartoon.
The slapstick is really great. Yeah, the timing's really good. The jokes, I mean, this is years later, and these are still good jokes.
The iron that fell, like we mentioned, the carpet over the hole, the guy in the other room reading the paper. Like, it's all around. It's a funny cartoon, with or without the dark element.
I think it's really funny, and it is dark, but that's also part of the comedy. It just cracks me up. So yeah, thank you so much for introducing me to this.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And the more I think about it, I find it strange that I even saw it as a kid, because, I mean, they aired this on TV in the 80s or whenever it was. When I saw it, must have been, like, it could have been late 80s. Because I've looked into this, that they don't seem to air this one. This one is definitely one of those where they just cut it out of any Popeye collections that they put out. I wonder if I was the last person or among the last people to see it the last time it aired.
Could be. Could very well be. Thank you so much again, man. Thank you for being part of, I guess, the first Dark Toons crossover. So thank you so much again, man. Hey everyone, I got a couple of these lined up. If there's any particular cartoon you want me to look at as being very dark or twisted, leave it in the comments below. Again, I'm not really looking for movie scenes or cartoons meant for teenagers or older. I'm talking about ones meant for little kids, but still scare the shit out of you. Whether it's an old cartoon or a new cartoon, let me know what you want me to look at.